The story you're about to hear is heavy, emotional, and deeply unsettling, because it involves a young woman's final hours on one of America's most iconic peaks, Half Dome. And for 4 long years later, what search teams uncovered beneath a cold granite cliff didn't just raise questions. It destroyed any hope for closure. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss any of our deep dive mystery stories. Your support keeps this channel alive. Now, let's go back to what happened in 2018. Most people who knew Leah Mallory described her the same way. Quiet but bright, outdoorsy but careful, adventurous but not reckless. She was 28, living alone in a small studio apartment in Sacramento, California. She worked remotely as a freelance data analyst, a job she was good at, but not passionate about. Her real love was the outdoors: trails, ridgelines, granite faces, thunderstorms rolling over mountain passes. To her, climbing wasn't a sport. It was a form of therapy, a way to quiet the parts of her mind she never spoke about. But there were things she didn't tell people, like the fact that she had been having night terrors for months, or that she had recently ended a long relationship, a relationship her friends never quite understood, or that her phone history was full of searches about isolation, stress, and how to reset your life. She hid these parts of herself well, maybe too well. So when she announced, casually, that she planned to do a solo day trip to Yosemite National Park to finally take on the famous Half Dome hike, no one questioned it. It was just Leah being Leah. Except this time, she didn't come back. If you're not familiar with Half Dome, it's not just a mountain. It's a monument of sheer granite, a vertical face thousands of feet tall, with a rounded backside that millions of hikers attempt each year. It's beautiful. It's dangerous. And in late summer, the weather becomes unpredictable fast. Leah arrived at Yosemite on August 17, 2018, checked in at the entrance station, parked her silver Subaru, and began the long ascent toward Half Dome. There were no red flags. Hikers passing her on the trail later said she seemed friendly, focused, well-prepared, and surprisingly calm. One couple remembered her stopping to look over the forest, whispering, "Such a quiet place. Almost too quiet." No one thought much of it. Around 11:30 a.m., Leah reached the base of the Half Dome cables, the final, steepest section requiring metal cables and planks to haul oneself up the granite slope. A man descending remembered seeing her tighten her gloves and say, "Almost there." That was the last confirmed sighting. After 12:00 p.m., Leah vanished. When Leah failed to return home, her sister assumed she was staying the night somewhere near Yosemite. But by the next morning, panic started creeping in. Her car was still in the lot. Her phone was offline. And there were no posts, no messages, nothing. Rangers initiated a search immediately. They scoured the cables with professional climbers. They inspected ledges, drainage basins, ravines, and side trails. Helicopters circled the face of Half Dome day after day. They expected to find something. A backpack, a boot, a water bottle, anything. They found nothing. Even more strange, no one remembered seeing her after she reached the cables. And there were no reports of someone falling, screaming, or calling for help. It was as if Leah simply walked into thin air. After 7 days, the official search was scaled back. After 60 days, it ended. Her family was left with no answers, just theories. For nearly 4 years, Leah Mallory's disappearance faded from public attention. But her family never stopped wondering. Did she slip? Was she attacked? Did she choose not to come back? No theory made sense. Then, on September 12, 2022, everything changed. A pair of wildlife researchers conducting surveys near one of the lesser-traveled granite basins to the east of Half Dome noticed something unusual near the base of a 280-foot cliff. A scatter of white fragments, partially concealed by brush. They approached, thinking it was animal remains. It wasn't. Even before they radioed it in, they knew. They had found human bones. And not just scattered remains. Bones that looked positioned, as if someone had tried to arrange them. Rangers, forensic teams, and investigators hiked into the site the next morning. The location was remote, a steep, treacherous drop zone with no established trails and no reason for a casual hiker to be there. But the remains revealed far more disturbing details. 1. The bones were directly beneath a sheer cliff. That suggested a fall, but no one falls 2 miles off the main route. 2. Many bones were neatly placed. Not by animals. Not by natural erosion. But thoughtfully, intentionally. Her skull was resting against a granite slab as if placed upright. Her ribcage was arranged in a gentle arc. Even stranger, one of her boots sat beside her femur, tied, clean, untouched by wildlife. 3. Something was missing. Her backpack. Her phone. Her climbing gloves. Her water filter. Her ID. Gone. But her jacket was there, folded. Who folds a jacket after falling almost 300 feet? Investigators couldn't explain it. Dental records matched. DNA matched. 4 years after her disappearance, the mystery of where Leah had gone was finally answered, but not a single question about how she died had been solved. Her family broke down at the confirmation. Not because she was gone, they had expected that, but because the details were so much worse than the possibilities they had imagined. And when officials brought back the official analysis, the confusion only deepened. The fall didn't kill her instantly. That was the first shocking detail. The forensic pathologist determined that the fracture suggested a survivable impact, at least for a short time. Meaning Leah might have lain at the bottom of that cliff. Alive. For how long? No one knew. There were no signs of animal scavenging. Highly unusual for that area. There were microcuts on several bones. Not knife wounds. Not animal teeth. More like the marks from scraping against rock, or being dragged. But dragged by whom? Or by what? No footprints had ever been recorded in the area, not for years. And then came the most unsettling detail. Her clavicle and ulna had been placed deliberately over her ribcage, crossed like an X, a gesture no animal would make. It looked ceremonial. But investigators refused to use that word. Every expert who reviewed the case offered an explanation, but none fit. Theory 1. She fell while trying an unofficial route. Implausible. The terrain above the cliff was nearly vertical and had no climbable access without gear. Leah had none. Theory 2. She wandered off the trail and got lost. Unlikely. The park is filled with lost hikers every year, but this basin was almost unreachable without purposeful intent. Theory 3. She met a stranger. No evidence. No sightings. No tracks. And no missing persons linked to the area at that time. Theory 4. She was staged. Investigators hated that one. Because staged by who? The location was 2 hours of difficult bushwhacking from the nearest trail, unseen, unrecorded, unvisited. It was the perfect place to hide something. But there was no proof, no suspects, no footprints, no gear, no fingerprints. Nothing. Leah's sister, Madison, spent months combing through Leah's journals and old messages. She discovered things Leah had never shared. Persistent nightmares about falling. A recurring dream about being watched on a mountain. Notes about wanting to escape everything for one day. A list titled, "Things I Need to Let Go Of," with 3 items scribbled out too aggressively to read. This didn't solve anything. But Madison believes that something happened on the summit of Half Dome. Something that caused Leah to leave the trail, wander east, and climb terrain she shouldn't have been near. Maybe a panic attack. Maybe an emotional spiral. Maybe she was trying to get away from other hikers. Others believe she met someone. Someone who convinced her to follow them. And when things went wrong, they staged the scene to erase their involvement. But there is no proof. There may never be. 2 months after Leah's remains were found, a ranger returned to the area for a secondary survey. The site was undisturbed. But something stuck with him. A set of 3 granite stones near the base of the cliff, each flat, smooth, and placed in a near-perfect line. He hadn't seen them there before. He didn't mention it in his official report because it was likely nothing. Rocks fall. Rocks shift. But the pattern looked almost intentional. As if someone, or something, had been there since the recovery. Or been there before it. Leah Mallory's story ends where it began. With a cliff. With silence. With the sound of wind brushing through lonely pine trees. 4 years after she disappeared, her family finally got her remains back. But no closure. Only questions that lead nowhere. Why did she leave the trail? How did she reach that cliff? Who arranged her bones? Why were her belongings missing? And why, after so many years, did her jacket look almost untouched? The official cause of death remains. Accidental fall. Manna, undetermined. But everyone involved believes there is something more buried in that remote basin. Something they didn't find, or couldn't see. And if one thing is certain, Half Dome has never given up all its secrets. And it probably never will.